Open your phone, right now. Thousands of arguing comments, countless dazzling videos, strangers from halfway across the world tearing each other apart on a glass surface. But your ancestors had none of that, and they rarely interacted with more than 150 people throughout their entire short lives. Why do you crave following these distant troubles so much that you are willing to trade both time and sleep? To find the answer, go back 30,000 years. An isolated camp under a limestone cliff in the Neander Valley, the burning smell of scorched animal fat, and 3 women busy stripping bitter roots while constantly whispering about the hunter who just hid the best piece of meat. The muscular hunter sits huddled in the dark corner of the cave, silently chewing the raw, bleeding lean meat while ignoring his fellow humans who are skinny from starvation. The women do not approach to fight over it, but just continue pulling the bitter roots, diligently weaving them together into rough baskets. They cast sharp glances toward the dark corner, exchange quiet grunts, nod meaningfully, and constantly whisper to each other about the ultimate selfish act that just occurred. In the cutting cold of the Ice Age, a death sentence has just been silently pronounced. Scientists used to believe that human language evolved so we could communicate complex ideas about the world, to invent new tools, or to discuss the shapes of the constellations lighting up the night sky. In 1992 at Oxford University, cognitive scientist Robin Dunbar measured the neocortex volume of numerous primate species, cross-referencing neural folds and comparing them directly with the group size of each species. He discovered an unbreakable mathematical ratio. Brain size precisely dictates the number of relationships an individual can fully keep track of. For humans, that number is permanently locked at a maximum of 150. Past the threshold of 150 individuals, your memory capacity begins to deplete, no longer having enough power to clearly remember who is a friend, who is an enemy, who is pregnant, and who is holding a deep grudge from last winter. The group will automatically shatter. Baboons maintain social order by plucking hair and picking lice for each other, creating a network of alliances through physical touch that takes hours every day. When our ancestors stepped down to the ground and tribes began to swell rapidly, massaging and picking lice for everyone in the group became completely impossible. The sound of gossip replaced the fingers. All your passionate conversations about this celebrity getting a divorce or that coworker cheating are actually the most primitive grooming tool, operated to evaluate loyalty and reinforce the boundaries of the herd. Language did not emerge for the first humans to recite poetry or draft constitutions. It evolved so naked apes could sit around the fire and endlessly gossip about other apes who are absent. When you receive a shocking secret about someone in your group, your brain immediately releases a massive amount of dopamine, the neurotransmitter that creates a feeling of extreme satisfaction, exactly like when you find a rare sweet berry in a barren forest. That euphoria is a biological reward. This cruel curiosity is a biological imperative forcing you to constantly gather data about your social environment, recalculate your own status, and ensure that you are never left on the fringes of a power alliance. Your brain automatically triggers a state of satisfaction every time you analyze the failure or mistake of another, turning those data points into a survival map, so you know exactly who to trust in the future. That is not innate malice, but an automatic defense mechanism warning you of behaviors that could threaten the integrity of the entire group. That instinct once saved your life. Deep in the vast Amazon jungle across the Venezuelan border, the Yanomami people are still maintaining this social intelligence system through massive Rihu feasts lasting many days and nights. A sweating warrior steps out into the middle of the dirt courtyard, brandishing poisoned arrows, raising his voice in a chant to denounce a meat theft from the previous moon, while hundreds of others stand silently around. The smell of body paint from bright red urucum seeds mixes with the smell of burning wood smoke, blowing into faces stretched tight, with concentration, analyzing every word. That dazzling celebration is a living intelligence gathering network. Every individual among the hundreds dancing is silently monitoring who is giving food to who is exchanging hostile glances, and who is slowly being isolated from the noisy crowd. Entertainment is not simply for amusement. It is a massive public trial to reaffirm alliances, identify traitors, and rebalance power, accurately grasping who is angry with whom, which villages are allying, and who is a potential enemy is the only way to prevent a bloody war that could wipe out the entire tribe's lives. The judgment of the crowd is their only school. Tens of thousands of years pass. An invisible blink in the evolutionary history of the planet. And your brain still insists that it is living in a tiny tribe consisting of highly familiar and attached faces. It is not equipped with any protective armor to face a global village containing up to 8 billion noisy inhabitants with countless chaotic social signals crashing into the mind every day. When you see a heated argument online about a cheating actor, half of your rational mind knows full well that it has nothing to do with your bowl of rice, your electricity bill, or your own safety. But your ancient neocortex is screaming the alarm. It mistakenly believes that a severe fracture is happening right within your tribe. That is why you feel exhausted after 2 hours of reading the probing words of nameless strangers, yet your fingers blindly continue to scroll down in visual desperation. The social media industry is acutely aware of this ancient threat monitoring neural mechanism, and they have whittled it into a perfect commercial weapon. Engineers at major tech corporations designed the infinite scroll system, eliminating the only natural stopping point of a conversation and continuously pumping endless tribal conflicts into your screen. The anger keeps you there. Their content recommendation algorithms do not care at all about the truth, the morality, or the core value of the information stream you frantically consume for hours on end. They simply recognize the signal patterns of betrayal, injustice, and social fracture, then throw them straight into the sensitive limbic system in your brain to trigger extreme attention. Social media platforms did not create your habit of cruel curiosity or your craving to judge your fellow humans. They spent billions of dollars and countless years studying the deepest, oldest part of the human neural structure and built glowing platforms that fit exactly into the loopholes they found there. Every glowing red notification popping up in the corner of the screen, every outraged emoji hitting your eyes, is simulating the urgent whisper of a Stone Age neighbor, signaling that someone in the group just violated the common rules. Counting likes and comments converts the tribe's deep survival status into a lifeless number that can be continuously optimized, a process that never brings a sense of true completion or satisfaction. You are locked in a biological defense loop, constantly depleting mental energy to solve threats that do not exist in the physical world around you. Your reward system has been hijacked. All the fierce online exposures, the secretly recorded videos of strangers, the endless wars of words in the comments section are actually ancient survival instincts being manipulated by an unforgiving coded system. 30,000 years ago, our ancestors whispered in the damp darkness of a wet cave to protect the tribe's last pot of meat soup from the hands of a muscular, selfish person. Today, you scroll the screen in the freezing blue light at 2 in the morning, burning your mind to follow the downfall of a stranger living 100,000 kilometers away. It is the same survival game. Only the price to pay is no longer your life, but the rare silence of your mind.